My coworkers and I live in dread of a certain distinction at our company. Employee of the Year. It's not an honor, but a death sentence. This year, my name was up. It started with an email from my boss, Cold, clinical and devastating. You're in the running for Employee of the Year. My heart sank. I didn't need to read the rest. I'd cleaned enough of the last winners off the break room walls to know what it meant. At first, I was in denial. I was blowing past my sales quotas, selling big-ticket items every day, always tagging my barcode so the sales would be linked to my employee ID. We didn't get commission, but there were other incentives to keep us selling. I'd never imagined I was at risk. It had to be a system glitch, something IT could fix. I forced myself to walk to my manager's office, legs shaking, but he was unmoved. No miscalculation, he said, not meeting my eyes. The barcodes never lie, Graham. I was circling the drain, and if I didn't get my act together, I'd be circling it literally soon enough. I begged him to check the security footage. He only offered a hollow smile and a chilling reassurance. One way or another, we all contribute to the company's success. I tried to convince myself this wasn't a death sentence. Not yet. I had a month until the final numbers were tallied. A month before, I'd be led down the hallway, past the padlocked break room door, to whatever horror waited inside. Word spread fast. Kevin, ever the sleaze, gave me a smug grin, maybe thinking my absence would give him a shot with Elise. I just hoped Elise wouldn't be the one to clean up after me. I had to start parking in the Employee of the Year spot at the far end of the lot, the faded sign nearly swallowed by the trees. It added 10 minutes to my walk in the Texas heat, a moot point, since I might not be around much longer. When my coworkers saw my car there, they knew. They started avoiding me. I didn't blame them. We all knew what would happen if my sales didn't improve. On the closing night of the fiscal year, we'd gather for the mandatory meeting, all eyes on the unlucky winner. The room would be silent except for their muffled sobs. They'd get a handshake and a dead-eyed "thank you," then be led to the break room to meet corporate. No one ever tried to run after what happened in 19. The winner would always look back, pleading for help, but none of us ever intervened. Once the door closed and the soundproofing swallowed their cries, it was over. The rest of us would go home, trying to wash away the sick relief that it wasn't us. Cal, the nicest guy I'd ever met, was Employee of the Year 2 years ago. He got so sick he couldn't work anymore, thinking that would save him. He must not have read the fine print. There's no quitting in our line of work. If they have to track you down, they will. Wouldn't you rather go with dignity, with your family compensated, than be dragged away in the night? Gina won in 2023. She was kind, always smiling. When the numbers came out, she was as shocked as the rest of us. We all vouched for her, but management just repeated, "The barcodes never lie." I was on break room duty the next morning, picking up what was left of her smile and her gold wedding band to return to her family. A week later, they got a box with a check and everything that wouldn't fit down the drain. Once your barcode is on that pink slip, your fate is sealed. Kevin somehow had never even come close to the honor. He couldn't sell water to a dying man, yet he always stayed safe. I never understood it, but I had my own problems to worry about. I doubled down, working extra shifts, meticulously tracking my sales. But as the month ended, I was still dead last. Some days, less than half my sales were credited to me. I didn't understand. I waited for a chance to sneak into the manager's office and check the security footage myself. Watching the tapes, I saw myself making sale after sale, far more than the system showed. Relief flooded me. I had proof. I switched to the register camera to confirm the barcodes were being scanned. That's when I saw it. Kevin intercepting my customers before checkout, slapping his barcode over mine. Subtle, but systematic. Nearly half my sales that day were stolen. I confronted him. He just smiled and said, "The barcodes never lie." He didn't care that he was dooming someone else. Maybe he even enjoyed it. He'd done the same to Gina, and who knows, who else. On the day the numbers were finalized, he brazenly covered my barcode on a huge sale right in front of me, grinning. I caught up with the customers before they checked out and peeled off his sticker, pocketing it as evidence. I pulled the video and stormed into my manager's office, refusing to leave until he watched. He watched in silence, then finally looked at me with a pain I'd never seen before. "I'm sorry, Graham. Someone has to receive that award tomorrow. It's out of my hands." I handed him Kevin's barcode sticker. He studied it, then handed it back. "Why don't you hold on to this?" I told Elise over lunch. She was furious, but I was resigned. I mostly wanted to warn her. Kevin would probably target her next. That night, my boss called me in. The pink slip was on his desk, already signed, but the barcode space was empty. "I need you to place a barcode here before I send the form to corporate," he said quietly. He stared at me, then left the room. I sat there, the sticker in my hand. I thought of Gina, of Cal, of everyone Kevin had doomed. I pressed his barcode onto the form. The next day, they announced the Employee of the Year. Kevin's face drained of color as our manager shook his hand and thanked him for his devotion. He pleaded all the way to the break room, but the rest of us stood silent. The barcodes never lie. As the door slammed behind him, I felt a pang of guilt, but it was quickly replaced by relief. The rest of us were safe, at least until next year.